Music fans, welcome back. It's Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there, just like me right here. Okay, I'm kind of a binger when it comes to music. Also, television shows on Netflix. Not that you really care, but I tend to binge. I go from one thing to another. Uh, Somebody will contact me about something that they're listening to, and I'll go, yeah, that's great, but I'm currently in this phase. Last month I went through like this West Coast music phase. Okay, right now I'm actually kind of in a country rock phase, listening to all this music from the 90s. And you know what band competes with the Eagles from the 1990s more than any band I've ever heard, in the sense, not that they sound exactly like the Eagles or anything, but when it comes to harmony, arrangement, songwriting, quality of album from start to finish, the band Blackhawk. I don't know if you're a fan of them. They're still sort of around today. It's run, of course, by the great Henry Paul, who was in the Outlaws, didn't sing that much in the Outlaws. Of course, he formed his own band called the Henry Paul Band, catchy name. And then in 1993, he hooked up with Tim Robbins, who was writing a bunch of songs in Nashville, and the fantastic Van Stephenson, modern day Delilah Van Stephenson, who could write a great hook and had a couple of really good 80s albums that didn't go as far as they could have, but Modern Day Delilah is one of those great sort of lost 45s. So it was kind of like this not unlikely trio. They also had some great studio musicians in their midst. They had Nashville behind them. They had their record label. I believe it was Arista at the time. Might have been RCA. I can't remember. It's been a while. But they released their self-titled album, and it just, from start to finish, you listen to tunes like Every Once in a While, and you just think back. I mean, that was a great time for country radio. And the harmonies, the arrangements, the hooks. I mean, these are songs that you were just wanting to hear. I was totally enamored at that time with what you would call top 40 country, if there was such a thing, and there is such a thing. Much like the days when, I used to listen to Casey Kasem, I used to listen to the country version of that on Sunday mornings or whatever, and hope that the band that I was kind of rooting for was about to go to number one. Their second album, with the tune I'm Not Strong Enough to Say No, written by the great Mutt Lange, who, of course, was, I believe, starting to hang out with Shania Twain at that time. I mean, think of it. The guy who, the architect of Back in Black, Foreigner 4, Def Leppard's Hysteria, and, how many more great albums. And he, like me, fell off the turnip truck and ran over to country. Married Shania. They did eventually divorce, but and launched her career, and writing one of the iconic songs for this group, Blackhawk, who, to me, unfortunately, Van Stephenson left planet Earth due to cancer, I believe, around the year 2000. And it was funny because as the 90s were kind of ending, country music was starting to change, much like the grunge stuff. I think it took a little longer for country to completely unravel to where it is today, where you had the traditional remnants, the people that are actually producing great harmonies. The band put out an album called Spirit Dancer without Van Stephenson around 2002, I believe. Still had that core Blackhawk sound. They've put out music since then, but it hasn't really measured up to those albums they did from 93 to 2002. Love and Gravity, just another fantastic album that came out in 97. If you listen to this band, first of all, if you haven't heard Blackhawk, you just skipped country music, you don't know who I'm talking about. You like the Eagles, you like harmony bands from the 70s, nitty gritty dirt band stuff, or whatever that you used to listen to in the 70s, I should say. This particular artist, I think, will catch your attention. Henry Paul, a little on the nasal side vocally, but just a great singer, and brings so much of that southern rock gravitas with him to the country scene This wasn't, a flash in the pan kind of group. These guys were truly talented, wrote great songs, and deserved the success that they had for about a decade. Okay, done with this video. Eagles, Blackhawk. You see there's a little similarity there. I mean, birds, come on. I mean, bands that are named after birds, they flock together. All right, done. See ya. Bye.